Rohan, a young man from the bustling heart of Mumbai, lived a life meticulously planned. His calendar was his sacred text, and his to-do list a roadmap to a future he was determined to build. He was an aspiring engineer, bright and ambitious, and he had just landed the most coveted interview of his life, a chance to join a prestigious tech firm in Bengaluru, a city known as India's Silicon Valley. This wasn't just a job, it was a launchpad for his career, a chance to make his humble family incredibly proud. The night before his journey, Rohan laid out his best formal clothes, shined his shoes until they gleamed, and carefully packed his portfolio. He checked his train ticket for the fourth time, noting the departure time. 6 a.m. sharp. He had booked a first-class ticket on the Superfast Express, a train known for its punctuality. To ensure he didn't miss it, he set a series of 4 alarms, each one 5 minutes apart. He was not going to leave anything to chance. The next morning, however, the universe seemed to have a different plan. The first alarm on his phone failed to go off. Rohan, usually a light sleeper, slept through the subsequent 3. He awoke with a jolt at 5:30 a.m., his heart pounding a frantic rhythm against his ribs. Panic seized him, a cold, sharp feeling that sliced through his mind. He scrambled out of bed, his thoughts racing a mile a minute. He had a mere 30 minutes to get to the station. He performed his morning rituals in a blur, brushing his teeth, splashing water on his face, grabbing his bag. His mother, noticing his frenzy, tried to hand him a plate of hot idlis, but he just shook his head, muttering, "No time, Mom, no time." He didn't even have a moment to give her a proper hug goodbye. He was so focused on the destination that he was blind to the journey. He hailed an auto rickshaw, shouting, "Dadar railway station, and fast." The driver, a kind, elderly man with a gentle smile and a salt and pepper mustache, noticed Rohan's distress. "Don't worry, Beta," he said calmly. "We'll get you there." But fate, it seemed, was determined to test Rohan's patience. The normally smooth morning traffic had become a crawling monster. A truck had broken down on the main road, causing a massive jam that stretched for blocks. The auto rickshaw crawled forward inch by painful inch. Rohan kept checking his watch, the seconds ticking away like tiny heartbeats, each one a nail in the coffin of his hopes. By the time they reached the station, the clock on the grand old building read 6:05 a.m. The Superfast Express was just a shimmering blur in the distance, its red tail lights disappearing around a bend. Rohan stood on the platform, his shoulders slumped, his dreams shattering into 1,000 pieces. The air felt heavy with his failure. He had been so careful, so prepared, and yet he had failed. Tears welled up in his eyes, but he quickly blinked them away, swallowing the lump in his throat. He felt the weight of his mother's sacrifice, the expectations of his family, all crashing down on him. A sudden downpour started, as if the sky itself was weeping for his misfortune. He found a bench and sank onto it, defeated. The elderly auto rickshaw driver, who had been waiting to make sure he was okay, patted him on the shoulder. "Don't be sad, Beta. Sometimes the things we miss are the things we're meant to miss." Rohan didn't understand his words at the time. He just sat there, head in his hands, completely lost. He ended up booking a ticket for the next train, which was leaving 4 hours later. The wait was agonizing. He kept replaying the morning in his head, wondering what he could have done differently. Finally, the new train arrived, and he boarded it, a hollow feeling in his stomach. The journey was uneventful for the first few hours. Then, a few stations down the line, the train suddenly stopped. An announcement blared over the intercom, its sound crackling with static. The voice of the train conductor, grim and somber, explained that the Superfast Express that had left at 6 a.m. had met with a terrible accident. It had derailed, and there were significant casualties. A collective gasp went through the compartment. Rohan's heart stopped. he felt a wave of nausea wash over him. His body trembled. He listened again, his mind slowly comprehending the words. He was alive. The missed alarm, the traffic jam, the delayed auto rickshaw. It hadn't been a series of unfortunate events. It had been a chain of miracles. Tears, which had been tears of defeat just hours ago, now streamed down his face as tears of profound gratitude. He thought of the elderly auto rickshaw driver's words and finally understood their meaning. What he had perceived as a disaster was, in fact, the greatest blessing of his life. His missed train hadn't been a sign of his failure. It had been a divine intervention, a second chance at life. He still went to his interview a day later than planned, but with a new perspective.